The neighbor who borrowed your spare key last summer just stopped waving. 3 days of silence. No coffee chat, no dog walk past your porch. Then you catch it. A curtain twitching upstairs at 11 at night. The same pair of eyes tracking you unload water jugs from the trunk. They're not curious, they're counting. The movies teach us to fear the stranger, but the real threat knows your floor plan, memorized your schedule, and watched your pantry fill up while theirs emptied. The system's promise of community melts faster than ice in a blackout. Subscribe so you never miss this. Stay for number 9. The one most people mistake for peace, but it's actually the final proof an attack is coming. VV Sign 1. The Sudden Good Neighbor Offensive. Before the crisis, they nodded once a month and kept walking. Now they are at your front door with a half-empty bag of coffee and a smile that doesn't reach their eyes. The small talk is a performance. Just checking in. How are you holding up? The words are friendly. The eyes are inventorying your hallway. They scan the coat rack, the kitchen counter, the door to the basement where they suspect the supplies live. This is not community. This is reconnaissance. Most people feel warmth at the gesture. Invite them in, offer a cup of something, and accidentally reveal their entire survival layout. You will not. You step onto the porch and close the door behind you. You meet the kindness with kindness but reveal nothing. The question, how are you holding up, gets answered with, we're getting by, same as everyone. Vague. Unhelpful. A blank mirror. The sudden good neighbor is not a friend rediscovered. They are a threat actor running a soft probe. Your first defense is polite opacity. Sign 2. The grocery run stare. You pull into the driveway after a supply run. The trunk pops. You lift the first flat of canned goods and a gallon of water. Across the street, the neighbor's porch light is off, but the silhouette is there. Standing, watching, not waving, not calling out, just cataloging. Every bag you carry inside is a data point. 2 cases of water, 4 cans of fuel, a box of medical supplies. They are not admiring your efficiency. They are calculating your surplus against their deficit. Most people ignore the stare, rationalize it as boredom or coincidence, and keep unloading with the garage door wide open. You will not. You back the car into the driveway before you unload. You keep the trunk open for the shortest possible time. You move high-value items inside a duffel bag, not a clear plastic sack. The less they see, the less they know. The less they know, the harder the risk-reward math becomes in their head. The grocery run stare is the prelude to a midnight inventory of your unlocked shed. Sign 3. The boundary test. You hear the side gate creak at dusk. Their dog is suddenly loose in your backyard, and they are shuffling through your flower bed, calling its name with theatrical apology. Sorry, he just got out. Your gate was latched. It didn't fail by accident. This is a boundary probe. They are measuring how long it takes you to notice, how quickly you react, and whether you confront them or hide behind the blinds. While they retrieve the dog, their eyes are mapping the back door lock, the window latches, the motion sensor light that didn't trigger. Most people wave it off as a neighborly mishap and retreat inside. You will note the time, the route they took, and the access point they tested. You will resecure the gate with a carabiner or a lock. You will make your presence known immediately, not with aggression, with a calm, firm voice from the porch. Everything okay back there? The message is simple. I am watching. I respond fast. This house is not an easy target. The boundary tester is not looking for a fight. They are looking for an absent owner. Sign 4. The neglect cascade. Look at their property. The trash cans overflow and stay on the curb for days. The lawn grows tall and brown. A window breaks and a garbage bag fills the gap for a week. A shutter hangs crooked. This is not poverty. This is a psychological signal. The social contract that keeps people mowing lawns and sweeping porches has dissolved inside their head. They no longer believe normal rules apply. They will see a flashing red indicator. A person who neglects their own property has zero investment in respecting yours. The fence line between your yard and theirs is not a boundary anymore. It is a suggestion they are already ignoring. Watch the neglect cascade closely. It often escalates in direct parallel with their internal decision to take what they need rather than trade for it. The broken window gets a trash bag. The trash bag becomes a warning sign you watched unfold. Sign 5. The just one thing request. They appear at your fence line, not your front door. The approach is casual, but timed. Dusk, a time when lighting is poor and refusal feels awkward. The ask is deliberately small. Hey, you got just a couple gallons of gas I could borrow? Just need to run the generator for an hour, or a roll of toilet paper, or a handful of batteries. The item is never the point. The test is, if you hand over a small resource without resistance, you have just labeled yourself a soft supply depot. They will return with a bigger ask and a harder face. Most people comply out of guilt or neighborly instinct and wonder why the requests escalate into demands. You will not comply. You will offer information instead of resources. Haven't got any to spare, but I heard the station down on Main might open tomorrow. You redirect. You refuse cleanly without apology. The request was never about gas. It was about measuring your spine. A person who gets a polite, firm no learns that your house is not a vending machine. They move on to softer ground. Sign 6. The shifting social landscape. You hear it through the grapevine. Another neighbor mentions that the person next door was asking about you. How are they set up? You think they've got extra food. They ever shared anything with you? The questions are not casual. They are building a narrative. Before people loot, they need moral permission. They need to believe you are greedy, unfair, or hoarding, while others starve. The gossip is the groundwork for that justification. Most people never hear it because they are isolated. You will stay connected to at least 2 other trustworthy neighbors. You will listen for the subtle intelligence gathering running through the block. When you hear that your name is being floated and your stash is being speculated about, you know the threat has entered the planning phase. The shifting social landscape is the warning before the warning. It tells you that the person is not just desperate. They are organizing a rationale in their own head. That is a clock ticking. You harden your entry points now, not after the gossip turns into a knock on the door at midnight. Sign 7. The nighttime soundscape changes. The grid is down. The street is black. No streetlights, no porch lamps. The only light is the moon and the occasional flicker of a candle behind a neighbor's curtain. In that silence, your ears become your primary security system. A footstep on gravel, a metallic scrape near the side gate, the same car engine idling 2 blocks over at 3 in the morning, cutting off, then restarting 20 minutes later. These are not random urban noises. They are a pattern. Most people pull the blankets over their head and tell themselves it was a cat or the wind. You will log it. You will note the time, the direction, the duration. A single unexplained sound is nothing. 3 nights of the same footfall rhythm outside your perimeter is someone rehearsing an approach. The nighttime soundscape changes when a neighbor has shifted from thinking about your supplies to actively casing the entry points. Darkness emboldens. Silence betrays. Your ears are the motion sensor that requires no batteries. Use them. Sign 8. The weapon flex. It starts as a coincidence. They happen to be cleaning a hunting rifle on the back porch while you're outside. They're chopping wood with a machete in the front yard, shirtless, sweating, making sure you see the blade arc. They walk the property line with a baseball bat resting on their shoulder, not playing ball, just walking. This is not maintenance. This is not exercise. This is a dominance display calibrated to intimidate you into compliance before a single demand is made. Most people look away, pretend they didn't see, and hope it stops. You will not flinch. You will not stare back aggressively either. You will acknowledge their presence with a single calm nod, then turn your back and walk inside without hurry. The message you send is this: I see you. I am not impressed. I am not intimidated. The weapon flex is a test of psychological dominance. A predator who doesn't get the flinch they expected is a predator who recalculates the risk. Let them recalculate. You already know where your locks are and which window is reinforced. Sign 9. The ominous silence. The friendliness stops. The small talk ends. The waves go unreturned. The probing requests vanish. For a day, maybe 2, there is nothing. No eye contact. No noise. Most people feel relief during the silence. They think the threat has passed, that the neighbor gave up or moved on. This is the most dangerous misread. The ominous silence is not peace. It is the final phase before action. The reconnaissance is complete. The boundary tests are done. The soft probe was rejected. They have stopped gathering data because they now believe they have enough. The silence is the shift from intelligence gathering to operational planning. They are inside their house, waiting for the right hour, watching your lights and running the final checklist in their head. Most people relax during the silence and leave a window unlatched. You will recognize the silence for what it is: the deep breath before the breach. You will use that quiet window to harden every entry point, reposition your defensive tools, and stay awake during the hours between 2 a.m. and dawn, when human adrenaline is at its lowest and break-ins peak. The silence is not your friend. It is the countdown. Here is the reality. Most people will reject because it's uncomfortable to hold in their head. While they're trying to sleep, the person most likely to loot your house already knows your dog's name. They borrowed your ladder. They watched your kids grow up. The collapse doesn't manufacture monsters. It strips the social contract away from people you already know and reveals the raw calculus underneath. Your defense is not a rifle propped against the nightstand. Your defense is the 9 signs you now recognize as pre-attack indicators before the glass breaks. The sudden good neighbor, the grocery stare, the boundary test, the neglect cascade, the soft request, the shifting gossip, the nighttime sounds, the weapon flex, and the terrible silence that is not peace, but a countdown. You do not need to be paranoid. You need to be a quiet, patient, pattern-recognizing machine sitting behind a hardened door, watching the signs unfold in sequence. Survival rewards the observer. The house that saw it coming is never the house that gets hit. Now drop a comment and tell me which of these 9 signs you have already witnessed but convinced yourself you were imagining. I want you to write it down, make it real, and start trusting your instincts again. And in the next video, we are moving from detection to denial. The 5-minute home hardening checklist that turns your front door into a headache a looter won't risk, even when they know exactly what you've got inside. I'll see you there.